former Fox executives who worked at the company before Fox News was created, important caveat, have publicly apologized for helping to create the company that would eventually become the home of Fox News. So their letter is titled, "How Our Efforts to Bring Competition to Television Unknowingly Helped Create the Fox Disinformation Machine." It begins as follows. "For what little it may or may not be worth at this point, Preston Padden, Ken Solomon, and Bill Reyner wish to express their deep disappointment for helping to give birth to Fox Broadcasting Company and Fox Television that came to include Fox News Channel, the channel that prominently includes news that, in the words of Sidney Powell's counsel, no reasonable person would believe." So the three executives that were listed there are Bill Reyner, so that's the lead outside counsel for Fox News Corp, Fox, Rupert Murdoch. Then you have Ken Solomon, the executive VP of network distribution for Fox Broadcasting Company, and then Preston Padden's my favorite. I mean, I guess I commend you for apologizing for all of this, but that's the lead Washington lobbyist.
Yeah. Well, actually, he had apologized for it before too, and that apology was really good. So I mean, for a lobbyist, there's some good amends. So he said about Murdoch, and all these guys said, "Look, we believed in Murdoch, and we thought he was doing a service by creating a fourth network before Fox News. Remember, ABC, CBS, NBC, Fox Corporation becomes a fourth network, has The Simpsons, etc." And then they start Fox News. And he's like, "We all thought we were doing the right thing and we were giving people more options, and they liked Murdoch. And then they realized, oh, this guy had bad intent the whole time. We were wrong." And Padden said he owes himself a better legacy than a news channel that no reasonable person would believe. So repeating that same line from the letter today, and that Fox News had transformed from and so remember, these guys, a lot of them didn't mind in the beginning, from a quote, truthful center-right news network to now, quote, a bile-filled network. Like just filled with bile and venom and poison that they're spreading into the country.
Listen, Fox News was launched in the 1990s. I was too young to care or watch, like I didn't watch cable news when I was a child, right? But I say that because was Fox News ever a truthful, like, okay, yeah, they have a right-wing slant, right? But they're at least like dealing with facts. Were they ever that?
No, they weren't. So that's why that's also not true. But it gives you the sense that some of these guys started as like center-right, and they thought they were doing something okay. Remember, they're at Fox Corp, they're not at Fox News, but Fox News is attached to their company, right. And they're like, okay, but I can live with it, I'm center-right. And then they find out, oh wait, no, this isn't center-right, this is just totally lies and propaganda. So was it that way from the beginning? Yes, because Roger Ailes was there right from the beginning, and Roger Ailes was the original cancer at Fox News. He's a legendary propaganda man for the Republican Party, worked for Richard Nixon, etc. Basically was the architect of stealing the 2000 election for George Bush. And to give you a sense of how they started, back then I was a Republican in '96 when they started. And I remember thinking, oh, a Republican alternative. There isn't any in mainstream media, that's good. And by the way, I was like, they're gonna kill it since there's no other alternative. They're gonna get a ton of viewers. And that unfortunately turned out to be right. But I remember two stories that made me realize, even back then, oh no, these are the bad guys, okay? One was my dad, who was also a Republican back then. I've told this story in members only segments a couple of times, but he calls to me and he goes, Cenk, I was listening to Bill O'Reilly, and I think he is full of crap. And I was like, why? I'm like, isn't he on our side? He's like, I don't know. I listen to him. I want to but I don't think it's true. He kept saying things that are not true over and over and over again. And my dad, who's a super logical guy, was like, nope. And he was still a Republican. He's like, but I'm not buying this. This is definitely wrong.
Would you say that was the very beginning of his political transformation?
Yeah, maybe my dad's ironically the one guy in the country Fox News flipped over to the left.
No, I disagree. I think that, look, I think honesty is really, really important, right? And so if you start using your news channel or your news show as something that's more interested in pushing an agenda, and while pushing that agenda, you withhold information or you like straight up lie to your audience about the facts of the story, there are gonna be people who are gonna catch on to that. And that is not gonna work in your favor, right? Both in building an audience. I mean, look, Fox News did well with building an audience, unfortunately. But also, like, there are people who are gonna stop trusting you once they realize you're lying, and they're gonna start questioning everything you say and everything that they've trusted you on, right?
Yeah, so now that takes me to my story. The year's 2000 now. I'm still a Republican. I haven't yet voted for Al Gore, but I'm about to, but I don't know that. And I decide, and I'm in Miami, I work in news, and Elian Gonzalez is there at the time, right? And I thought, well, I don't care what the Republicans are saying, because I was always independent minded.
Oh my God,
and
I love this story.
And I was socially liberal, right? And so I was like, no, he belongs home with his dad. I mean, I hate that he's gonna go back to Cuba, but his dad asked for him. This is a no-brainer, right? So I go down to Little Havana where they're keeping Elian, right? And with a sign saying, send Elian home. I thought there was counter-protesters.
Insane, I can't believe you did that.
Okay, I thought there was like a section for counter-protesters. There was no counter-protesters. I was the only counter-protester.
It's Miami.
It's Little Havana.
It's Miami.
Okay, like, so what happened was, this is a longer story. Again, I've told it to the members before, and you'd love the longer version. But the bottom line is, I turned the sign around, and I instantly get attacked by a mob of hundreds. Like, I've never experienced anything like that. They ripped my shirt, they kick, punch me, etc. The cops came and rescued me. They lifted me off my feet. It was super scary. And one guy, and the funniest part of the story is, as they're kicking and punching and trying to, just tear me to shreds, one guy behind me keeps pinching me in the ass. The whole time I'm like both like incredibly frightened and freaked out at the same time. And I keep looking back like, who's this something pinching me in the ass?
It's not funny, but it's just so random and weird.
It's so random, it was hilarious. Anyway, cops come and rescue me. And that night, Bill O'Reilly goes on air and goes, and remember at the time I'm a Republican. Yes, a pro-Castro agitator infiltrated the crowd and tried to get them to, et cetera. So I'm like, what? He just made that up. I'm like, I hate Castro. I don't like communism. I'm a Republican. What do you mean pro-Castro agitator? Like, it was an unbelievable lie that he just pulled straight out of his ass. And so I was like, oh, the guys at Fox News are lying about everything.
I'm telling you, man, once you get caught with one lie, and it's a clear lie, it makes some people in the audience question everything you're saying, right? Now look, that's different from making a mistake or having bad information.
Yeah, like if he had gotten a word that, oh, well, we thought it was Cenk, but it was the guy next to him who had actually been a spy for Fidel Castro. Okay, he made a mistake, it was Bob and not me. No, he just made it up. Just totally. So that's why this, look, if I get into the story of how they stole the 2000 election, we're gonna be here all day. No, Fox News was built on lies. So these guys, I appreciate them. They worked at Fox Corp, but they are so bothered that they had any kind of help to Fox News that their conscience is killing them. And they're like, this is poison. Get it out of the system because it's killing the country.
I do want to give you a few other excerpts of their apology. Although, look, I think it's worth having a discussion about whether they should feel any responsibility for Fox News, right? Because Fox is a giant company, and under that umbrella, there's a ton of content. And I'm not just talking about news content, I'm talking about television shows, I'm talking about movies, anyway, but let me give you more. They write, in our opinion, the Fox News channel has had many negative impacts on our society. Arguably, the worst has been Fox's role in promoting Trump's big lie about alleged widespread fraud in the 2020 election. And in our opinion, Fox's role in contributing to the January 6th riot at the US Capitol that undermined our democracy. In fact, the connection between Fox and the January 6th attack is so strong that multiple January 6th defendants have pleaded not guilty, arguing they were suffering from Foxitis, a disease caused by watching false news on Fox. So,
wow.
Yeah, so look, I agree with them in pointing to the role that Fox News had in inciting anger, rage, and the thought that the election was stolen from Donald Trump. This is the reason why they had to pay hundreds of millions of dollars in that settlement in the defamation lawsuit brought by Dominion Voting Systems. But I do want to know, what do you think about them feeling responsibility and this need to apologize for Fox News when they themselves never worked at Fox News? Like, they left before Fox News.
But they did set up the parent corporation. And so do I think they're guilty? No, I don't think they're guilty. And I know other people that work at Fox Corp even to this day. And look, they got a job to do, and their job doesn't have anything to do with Fox News. Having said that, do I appreciate that they went out of their way to say, look, I don't care how guilty you guys think we are or not, we feel guilty, and we feel terrible that we contributed to any parent corporation that started this poison in the first place. So that makes them really decent people, so thank you for saying that. Thanks for watching the Young Turks, really appreciate it. Another way to show support is through YouTube memberships. You'll get to interact with us more. There's live chat emojis, badges. You've got emojis of me, Anna, John, JR. So those are super fun. But you also get playback of our exclusive member-only shows and specials right after they air. So all of that, all you gotta do is click that join button right underneath the video. Thank you.